This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
Oh, look at you playing the harmonica over there. Yes, we are the Potsy and Tino Show. We are back, baby, and better than ever. I am wearing a Pikachu shirt. You can see him go, pizza, 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 right there. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cat. It's called The Wrestling Song. It's available for 99 cents, and you probably heard that good old boy, Cody, sitting there calling us into the show tonight. Tino, AEW.
The fruit of my loins, baby.
The fruit of your loins. It's when you look at what's going on with AEW and you look at what's going on with Cody. Apparently, the story coming out of everything is that Cody had to be talked into wanting to actually be part of AEW by Tony Khan and the Young Bucks. Because while he liked the idea of getting a 10,000 person arena to hold All or Nothing, he wasn't quite sold on the idea of actually running his own wrestling promotion. What have you heard that?
No, I hadn't heard that. I mean, and I thought that he was on board from the beginning. I thought he was in with the Young Bucks and starting that promotion. So that's the first time I've heard about that. Yes, he I think he has the mind like his dad. He had that promoter mind. Like you said, they did the All or Nothing. They did the ones that was All or Nothing. Him and the Young Bucks, right? Where they had everything sold out. And this sounds like this new one that we got come up with AEW is doing well too. I think he has a future as promoter once he decides he wants to hang up the boots.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think everybody was, is Kenny Omega going WWE or is Kenny Omega going to AEW or what's the deal with Kenny Omega? And of course, we all knew that Kenny Omega's best friends in the wrestling business are the Young Bucks, so we all anticipated hearing him announced for All or Nothing. Double or Nothing. And it was All In, not All or Nothing. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a little out of it tonight. I seem to be coming down with some sort of cold. But we hadn't been on the air in so damn long, Tino, that
we missed you.
Had to put it back together. Had to get our asses back in the sling and do this show. And folks, we are committing right now to Sunday nights.
Sunday nights is where you can catch us. Now, the time we got to work out. We're going to tweak the time. But folks, we got a day. Baby steps. You got to crawl before you can walk, ladies and gentlemen. Baby steps.
Absolutely.
Sunday nights is where you can catch us right here.
Yes, and tonight's episode, by the way, is brought to you by Fart Night, the new Keen Spot comic coming in stores this Wednesday afternoon, maybe even Wednesday morning if you get to your comic shops. From Keen Spot, Tino, I actually had a one-page story in Fart Night.
Oh, did you now?
I did. My buddy Mike Rosenzweig is actually the writer, and friends John Hoseko and Remy Isu Mokhtar are the artists of it. It's all basically an obvious parody that deals with pretty much when you mix the worlds of Fortnite and passing gas together.
It seems like it'd be interesting, and I'm sure it's full of boyish, childish, endless.
This is the first explosive issue.
Yes. So great comedy like that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. There's a funny story about it. I was asked by my publisher if I actually wanted to be the writer of it, and he didn't like my idea. And Tino, when you think of Fortnite, what do you think of in terms of how the game plays?
Well, I've never really played Fortnite. Matthew has played Fortnite, and I've watched it, so I'm not quite down with exactly the game. I'm sorry to say, folks, I'm not into it.
It's okay. The most popular version of the game is the battle royale mode, and in that battle royale mode, you have players. You've players basically. 100 people going into a world, and the world gets smaller and smaller as as people die off in it, and until there's, you know, the victory royale, the person that actually wins. So my concept for it was pretty simple. It was I'm going to write 7 pages of someone thinking they're the greatest Fortnite player in the world, and then on the 7th page he dies. And then I'm going to write 7 pages of a player thinking he's the greatest Fortnite player in the world, and he dies. And then we get to the end where it's, you know, another 7 pages of the guy thinking that he, or the girl thinking that she is the greatest Fortnite player in the world. And just as she starts like dancing, thinking that she's won the whole thing, you know, because they do all the dances like the Carlton and whatever in the game, she dies. And then someone else finally on the last page just sits there and goes, "It's me." You know, kind of like Vince McMahon announcing that it was him all along. "It's me, Austin. It was me." You know, that whole thing. It was going to be like that. And you know, my publisher actually watches our show, so I'm gonna be nice here. But he was like, "I don't get it. I don't think that's funny."
You got to get the wrestling context in there.
And it, well, not the Vince McMahon part, but the, you know, the whole like concept of the 22 pages of the story. And it's funny because I actually talked to somebody who actually works at Epic and makes the game Fortnite, and they saw the advertisement for Fortnite and they laughed about it, and they were like, "Well, what's it about?" And I was like, "Well, you know, it's kind of like taking passing gas and Fortnite and mixing it together." And he's like, "That actually sounds pretty funny." And I was like, "Well, you know, what's really funny is I was offered the book. I started trying to come up with a concept for it. My publisher didn't like the concept. He went a different direction, which, you know, is going to work out fine. The book actually looks like it's going to be really funny. And you know, like the guy's like, "Well, go ahead and explain that story to me." And so I did. And he goes, well, that's Fortnite. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know. I know that's what it is. That's why I wanted to write it that way. And he's like, "So why wouldn't he let you do it?" I was like, I don't know. He just had another idea in his mind about what he wanted to do, and he wanted to put more fart jokes in it or something. I don't know, but you know, like, and like, so I told my publisher about it, and he goes, do you want to write a page in it?" And I was like, I can come up with a gag, you know, and my gag's actually pretty funny. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is because I want you to buy the book, but let's just say it's every parent's fart nightmare. Okay.
Oh my God.
So imagine your kids wanting to play Fortnite, and all of a sudden they come out with all the merchandise that's for it, and just imagine what you have to ask for. So that's what that's about. But Tino, before we get into any other of my comic book stuff, you've been quite busy, sir. Like half of the reason why we haven't done shows isn't me anymore. It's all you, baby. What's been going on?
So the band is starting to take off, starting to get more gigs. We changed the name of it from the Tino Gray Band. We're now Tino Gray and the Social Casualties, which is a line. Social Casualties is a phrase from one of my favorite John Mayer songs. And so I'm like, I think that sounded cool. And I ran it by the boss, ran it by Nicole. And she's like, "Yeah, that is kind of cool." So, and then I've been booking. My biggest thing now is people wanting, what do you call it, demos. It's like, send me something I can hear. So I'm trying to figure out I got the Tino and Social Casualties Facebook page, and what I've got some videos of people taking videos of us doing different performances, and I want to clip that into an email. So my problem right now is when I clip the video into the email, if you click on the video, it has all my Facebook stuff. So they can click on my different pages and they can click on my personal profile. I can't figure out how to separate that yet. So that's one thing I'm working on right now.
So we didn't talk about this off air, but we will after we finish the show, Tino. I've got somebody I could probably set you up with that actually has a studio that he might be willing to let you guys like play off in and you know, cut yourselves a demo.
Hey, any help, any way. But yeah, so I've been doing that, working, but like I said, just traveling with the band, doing solo gigs, man. I'm living the dream right now, and then thoroughly enjoying it, but missing doing these conversations with you. It's like we still, Rob and I still
tell everybody like about the text messages you've been sending me.
I'm like, "Well, when are we going to record?" And then Rob's like, "I got this going on. I got this going on." Like, all right. So, and then I was like, "Well, You want to record this night? Like what was it? Wednesday night. I'm like, okay, I can record tonight. I said, but I don't get out my show. I won't be home till 11. And Rob was laughing at me. I was like, or I don't play Friday or Saturday night, so we can try to record. And then Rob had something else. He went to the hockey game or something else going on. So like, okay, we're gonna do Sunday. So I text Rob early. I said, you want to try to shoot for like 8:30, 9 o'clock? So I still have my youth group that I do on Sunday nights with church. And he's like, okay. And then I get home and he's like, well, you want to shoot closer to 9:30, 10 o'clock? I'm like, well, I want to be done by 11 because I'm getting old. So that's why we're on here now. So we've been, trust me, folks, we still text back and forth and we're like, when are we going to do it? When are we going to record? And Rob's like, I'm like, well, I can do it and he can't, or he can do it and I can't. So that's what Rob's like, well, we're just going to shoot. Let's just shoot for Sundays. I'm like, that works for me. We can do Sundays.
And it's even funnier than that, folks, because like this week I started getting the guilt trip text messages of, I miss you. Why aren't we talking anymore?
I forgot about that.
Why aren't we doing all this stuff? Come on, buddy. We need to talk a little bit. And it's like, Tino, you're a grown ass man. You got a family. What you're missing? That's you got gigs going on. You got all this other stuff. Like you miss me. You know what? I'm happy to hear it. I miss you too, Tino. You know, and I do miss having these shows. But it was pretty funny because you were definitely sitting there like, I miss you, bro. Where are you?
I did. I'm man enough to admit it. I did. I was like, man, I miss that bald bastard.
Hey, you know, it's funny though, because folks, you know, this is not an act. Tino and I have known each other for damn near 20 22 years, something like that. I don't even know. And you know, when we get off the phone, when we're just having a phone conversation, we tell each other we love each other.
Yep. And that's the truth. Like I said, and we were joking off there, and we told this joke on air. Like when my son was born, we called him Baby Seamus. I mean, and so I mean, my wife's in on it, and she's every time I go to see Rob, she's like, ask Rob where my child support is, and it's a big joke, but it's cool. My wife loves Rob, my family loves Rob, so I go over there and hang out with Rob and his sister and his brother-in-law. It's just we just have a good time together. We literally and honestly love hanging out together and just having a good time being stupid, whether we're doing this or whether we're not. We go to the movies. We do a whole bunch of different stupid stuff together. So, like you said, this isn't a show just for this show. This is us off air as well as on air.
Yeah, you know, the reason why we even started it, you know, just like my former show before this, you know, the Potsy and Tino Show, it was always because like I was having an hour-long conversation with you know, Ward or Tino anyway, so it was like, shit, we might as well just go ahead and record these things.
I got jealous. I was doing Rob forever though. I'm like, when are we gonna do a show? When are we gonna do a show? And then Turd retired. You know, Ward retired. I'm like, hey, Rob. So he's like, you want to do a show? I'm like, yes, I do, because I had a ball.
Yeah, you know, I took like 6 months off, and I was like, being on the internet.
Yeah.
I kind of miss hearing my own voice.
Right. Just talking to himself, it doesn't work. He's got to see himself, and he's got to hear himself.
Well, you know, this week, because I was afraid we weren't going to get to talk, I actually did give my thoughts on Monday Night Raw right here on YouTube on the Potsy Network, and you know, I just tried to keep it to 10 minutes. I tried to keep it like short. I just wanted to let people know that I felt that it was probably the most interesting episode of Raw that's been on the air in, I don't know, probably a year, you know, and
how'd that 10-minute time frame work out for you? Because I know how you get long-winded.
I nailed it, man. Like,
you stayed 10 minutes?
Yeah. Well, it might have been 12 minutes, but
nice.
But the whole thing was I was like, I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to sit there and give my thoughts on Monday Night Raw, and we're just going to go from there. And like I said, I felt Monday Night Raw was probably the most interesting show that they've done in a year, probably since the night after Mania.
It was the whole the Roman Reigns came out. So when the news broke that he was going to be there on Raw, it also broke that he was going to be on Good Morning America. So which signaled for me, oh, he's coming back. You know, because why would they already put that he's going to be on Good Morning America? It had to be good news. But still, to hear him say it, that was awesome. And I noticed on your Facebook, you put, you know, and a couple of people put on the Facebook page that Roman's over. So, I mean, those fans, there was no anti-Roman chance. I think they need to keep this going. They don't need to start immediately pushing him down our throats again to you know, for them to hate. I think they need to stay on this. Keep him. They want him face. This is the way to keep him face. Keep him, you know, away from the title. You know.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to keep him away from the title, but it doesn't look like they're going to keep him out of people's perception. He is, you know, he even said, you know, keep an eye out. I'll be around, and you never know where I'll show back up. And then he shows up later in the episode, and you know we can leave it to the WWE. You know, there's the haters out there that are already saying they believe that Roman Reigns faked leukemia, which would just be like the worst type of person in the world, which is why, you know, on our show we don't believe that's the case. It was coincidental that, you know, The Rock was filming a movie and had his cousin come on and do some scenes, you know, but if I had to guess, I would probably say that he'd already found out he was in remission.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, yeah.
And you know, like if you looked at him, he looked small. You know, he didn't look all swole like he used to. You know,
he looked small Monday night.
What's that?
He looked small Monday night.
Yeah, he looked. I mean, he was a lot smaller than he had been. But literally, he came out and the crowd was chanting, "This is your yard." They were chanting Roman. They were chanting. Three-way dance. They were chanting, you know, they were all sorts of chants for Roman, and you know, good on him, because beating cancer is a reason to cheer somebody.
Yes.
You know, Matt Cappotelli?
Yeah, Matt Cappotelli.
Matt Cappotelli, you know, went into remission multiple times before cancer finally took his life. And every time he went into remission, you know, even when he was told he can't wrestle anymore, he still wanted to be part of that product. And of course, the industry loved him for it. So, you know, everybody that was out there was able to sit there and actually do something for him, special events and everything else. But, you know, like cancer's no joke, and it's not a funny matter, and it's not something you fake. It's not something that you BS about. If you know, this isn't a storyline. He was gone for 4.5 months, almost 5 months, and the reason why was because his life was on the line. You know, and people have to really believe that. They have to understand that that only the worst kind of human being would ever fake something like that.
Despicable. Yeah, it's just despicable that anybody would even say anything like that. Yeah, I don't even have a word. I'm dumbfounded. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. So you know, like with the Roman Reigns thing, Tino, they obviously look like they're going to build up to a fast lane tag team match. That right now looks like it's going to at least be challenger for the Universal title, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Elias, maybe Baron Corbin. I
heard two things about that too. First of all, they're saying there's possibility because they're starting to, and it could be a swerve, they're starting to advertise for Dean Ambrose after WrestleMania. So they're saying that maybe he's not going to leave. Secondly, Seth is nursing a back, like a slight back injury. So there's also rumors that they may pull Seth out of that to make sure he's 100% for his WrestleMania match with Brock and replace him with the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose.
Well, I think that what's going to happen is they're going to end up making it a 6-man tag match, maybe even a 7-man tag match, because I think you could have Baron Corbin and Elias both in that match. I think that they're going to protect Seth the same way that they protected Shawn Michaels back in WrestleMania 14 time, where at the In Your House before WrestleMania 14, they did have the match where it was like Steve Austin, Savio Vega, and someone else versus DX pretty much. And of course, Shawn Michaels really didn't even enter the match. You know, I think he gave one super kick, and that was pretty much it at that point. So it's very possible that they do that. Speaking of injuries, one of the worst stated injuries that I've heard about recently is none other than our favorite WWE champion, Tommaso Ciampa.
Now, what happened to him? I heard that when did he hurt his neck? How did he hurt his neck?
So nobody knows. And if I had to guess, It's probably because of how hard those guys go that he's just nursing an injury because, well, he hurt his neck during one of those matches with Aleister Black, Ricochet, Velveteen Dream, Johnny Gargano. I mean, who knows? But now they're saying that it looks like Johnny's going to have to carry that entire build up to whatever they're doing. Because if I had to guess, this whole DIY getting back together handshake deal from Wednesday night looks like it's going to turn out to be Johnny Gargano turning his back on Tommaso Ciampa and causing them to lose,
The Dusty Rhodes Classic.
which then sets up NXT TakeOver at WrestleMania.
See, somebody, and this is what I'm trying to figure out. So they're calling up. They called up. What was it? It was Aleister Black, Tommaso, Johnny. They're calling up these NXT
And Ricochet
competitors. They're on the main roster, but they're also still competing on NXT.
Correct.
Tommaso Ciampa is still the NXT champion.
Sure.
Him and Johnny Gargano are both called up to the main roster. Why would they have Johnny and Tommaso fight for the NXT championship? Don't they need to leave that on NXT?
I don't. So okay. So yes. To answer your question simply with a yes or no answer, yes, the NXT championship needs to be defended on NXT. However, as we probably saw by this week's NXT, we saw Sasha and Bayley with the women's tag team championships and saying that there's a possibility that they could entertain the idea of defending them on NXT. Yeah. Now, here's what I'm thinking is actually going on here, Tino. Remember the old WCW days?
Yeah.
Where when ratings started to dip, what did Eric Bischoff do?
He started cross promoting between Nitro and Thunder.
No, because they were always it was always Nitro.
Yeah, it was. They didn't have a brand split.
So what he would do is when all of a sudden ratings dipped, he'd go for shock value. He'd hire somebody new, and he'd suddenly have them appear, and it'd be like, "Oh my God, that's Mike Awesome," you know. And then, of course, the fat chick Thrilla happened out of Mike Awesome because
NXT ratings haven't dropped.
Well, this isn't about NXT ratings, sir. This is about the fact that SmackDown ratings are still down. This is the fact that Raw ratings are still down. This is what Vince is doing is he's creating probably visual evidence that people want to watch NXT now. Now, and the reason why I say that is because NXT is their right now their hot brand, right?
Yes.
So, but how many people get to see NXT?
Whoever has the network.
Whoever has the network. So let's say right now, I think if you actually go on the WWE network site, it actually says that like 5 million people have the network. Okay. So only 5 million people plus their households can watch NXT. But if you start putting these people on Raw and SmackDown, then when you sit there and say, this is the NXT champion, where are they going to see him next?
NXT.
So if you want people buying the network, it's okay to sit there and actually have these guys showing up on network television or cable television, knowing that the place that you can always catch them is NXT.
So these call-ups going to be?
Don't look at these as call-ups right now.
Are they just short-term? Yeah, and that's my next question.
Think about this.
Pick a brand, SmackDown or Raw.
Think about this as what Triple H said not too long ago when he was talking about the idea of the overall branding situation of having 3 to 4 actual traveling brands. Okay, and that's what this is now. NXT is a traveling brand, so it's almost like a territory, right? So if this is like old school wrestling, this means that the NXT guys get brought in for specialty matches to show people what they can do, but they're still NXT guys. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So they're, they may get a Raw tag team title match against Dawson and I want to say Dawson and Cabarrus, but I know that's 2 streets in Raleigh.
Dawson and Cabarrus. Dawson and Wilder.
Yeah, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. The Revival. But in actuality, that's why you're seeing them bounce up in Raw and SmackDown and getting some serious wins against good competing competitors because if they weren't, you're not going to care about checking out NXT.
Correct.
You know, so right now, I don't think these guys are call-ups. I think that they are showing what the brand of NXT is capable of, and after WrestleMania is when you may actually see the call-ups happen. You know, right now, I think we are going to get Johnny versus Tommaso, 3 at TakeOver Brooklyn, TakeOver New York, wherever it is this time. I know it's New York, but
what the hell are they doing with Lacey Evans?
They're doing the same thing they did with Eva Marie.
She hadn't gotten in her ring yet. She walks down the ramp and then she walks back up.
Yep. You know who else used to do that? Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah.
Worked for him.
And EC3, I heard he's in the dog house. I was watching on YouTube earlier saying like a 5 superstars that they're gonna get released after WrestleMania, and EC3 was on the list. Yeah, I know, right? Jinder Mahal was on the list. Who else was on the? Lana was on the list, and they said if Lana leaves, Rusev will probably ask to go. There's 2 more people that were on that. I was like, but I was surprised to see EC3. I'm like, he just got there.
Well, but they've shown that he hasn't done anything either. You know, like, I mean, everyone's sitting there going, oh, they're talking about all these other NXT guys, Johnny, Ricochet, Alistair, and Ciampa, and yet EC3 sitting here not doing crap, you know, and let's be real, the one thing that he's really good at doing, kind of like Elias, is speaking on the mic, and they're not letting him do it.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know if he's in the doghouse. I don't know if he's sitting there saying, give me a mic, let me talk. I don't know what they're doing, but he's not the kind of guy that's supposed to win a match with a roll-up. You know? And speaking of that, you know, the whole Dean Ambrose thing that's going on, like the thing that made me really think that Dean is leaving after WrestleMania was the idea that when Roman Reigns came back, Seth Rollins came out and gave him a hug, Dean didn't. And then later, Dean's in the ring, Dean's getting beaten down, they come down and they leave without him. It's like, what the hell's going on? So I don't know if they're trying to create the storyline there or what the heck they're trying to do, but for whatever reason, I didn't care for it. I thought that it missed the beat, and it really made me think that they're not trying to push Dean, but you know, at the same time, you know, when they came down later, it's like there's something there. What is it? So who knows?
Becky Lynch.
Who?
Straight four.
Yeah,
I know you want to speak on this. Orale.
I do.
Oil of Olay.
What's that?
Oil of Olay. Remember Disco Inferno? He's trying to mock Conan. He's like, oil of Olay.
That's such a weird analogy there, but okay.
Speak on this. You like this shirt? Touch it. That's enough. You remember he used to do that?
It's so bad, man. It's terrible.
I'm punchy tonight. It's okay.
Well, you know, like Disco Inferno apparently got himself in trouble with a bunch of people, by the way. Sitting there talking about how people don't really want to watch women wrestling. They just want to watch hot women like rub up against each other.
Oh my God.
And of course that's got people like interestingly enough, Lance Storm sitting there saying, and when was he last relevant?
If I could be serious for a moment.
Yeah, if I could be serious for a moment. So Becky Lynch. That's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about Becky Lynch.
What you got about Becky? What you got about the Baxter?
We want to talk about the Bexploder. We want to talk about we want to talk about all of the Twitterness going on where she actually sat there and posted a video of or a picture of Ronda Rousey's face as Tommy Wiseau, the guy from the Door, and now he's sitting there saying he actually wants to be the one to announce the match at WrestleMania.
Oh no! My favorite one is where they had the where Ronda was like, "Yeah, your version of the armbar looks like you're holding the dick you wish you had," and then Becca blasted back. She took a picture of Ronda Rousey's husband and put it on the end of her arm. So yeah, that's kind of like, wow. And I think Vince and I think the language is getting to Vince, and I think I don't know if Ronda is starting to take it too seriously, because at one point she called Becky by her real name, and she goes, "I don't care what the script says, I'm gonna whoop your ass." I think Ronda's is getting a little. I don't think that she understands what they're trying to do. I think she's taking it seriously and personally. And
you know, our buddy Phil, who's part of our wrestling group on Facebook, said that it's all a work. I don't think so, but at the same time, I think that everything has been approved before it goes out on the internet. Everything's been approved before whatever happens. But yeah, she's butthurt. She's butthurt bad by this. I mean, here she is claiming to be the baddest woman on the planet, and she can't hold her own in a war of words with somebody who is now claiming to be the man, right? And I think that what we're seeing out of this is we're really seeing Becky Lynch coming into her own. Vince McMahon saying, "Go ahead and do what you got to do to get this match over." And now I think that because there is the possibility that Ronda really is pissed off, like for real, legit pissed, that they have to insert someone like Charlotte Flair into that match so that they can protect their investments. Because if Ronda goes off script and tries to break Becky Lynch's arm, Ronda goes away and Becky's gone too. So you know,
what's Charlotte gonna be able to do? Is Charlotte really gonna stop Ronda from breaking Becky's arm?
So mixed martial arts and everything is all about one person taking on one person. It's never about a third person. So every single one of those referees in the WWE, if a fan tries to attack, they know how to put a chokehold on somebody.
Right.
So I think that we all know that in real life, Rebecca Quinn and Charlotte Flair, what's her name, Amy. I think we all know that those two are very close in real life. You know, they are part of the 4 horsewomen, right? The 4. Mm-hmm. And you know, Ronda can sit there and claim that she's part of a 4 horsewomen, but the fact is that there's one 4 horsewomen that's going to be more protected than others when it comes to those 4 walls of ropes, and that's going to be
Flair.
It's going to be Flair. It's going to be Becky Lynch, and it's going to be whatever they're trying to do there, right? So I truly at this point think that no matter how bad it's going to get, like as much as we would rather see Charlotte Flair removed from the match because she shouldn't be in it, like she didn't do anything to deserve it.
To protect Becky.
What's up?
So you're saying she's there to protect Becky?
I think she's there to protect the match. Mm. So I'm truly hoping though at some point, you know, this becomes a elimination match, and Ronda pins Charlotte, and then Becky pins Ronda, because I think that that's really the passing of the guard that shows that Becky really is the baddest bitch on the planet. She is the man, if you will, and that, you know, that will cement her. As long as she can keep that fire that she's got going on, as long as she can continue to keep it with the people that she's facing now in the WWE, that will allow her to actually become one of the immortals that we haven't seen in so very, very long, since John Cena. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then on the other side of that scale, you got poor Asuka.
Go ahead. Tell me all about this person that I have no idea who you're talking about because we haven't seen her in months.
I mean, or this title. It's like they're like questioning now if that title will even be defended at WrestleMania. It's like they put all this emphasis and all this concentration on the Raw Women's title, and they're just like, SmackDown who? You know, I kind of feel bad for Asuka.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't know who you're talking about because we haven't seen them in months. So, in actuality, I mean, like right now, they've thrown a quick little snippet together to get her into a match against Mandy Rose at Fastlane.
Yeah,
and you know, good for Mandy Rose. I mean, like we saw it last month with we saw it last month with Ronda and Ruby Riott. You know, they're definitely giving them a spotlight. They're definitely letting them actually show what they're capable of doing. But But at the same time, Asuka is one of the best female wrestlers in the world, and she's not getting anything to showcase it on. And it's really, really bad on the WWE because they're putting all of their eggs in one basket for that. And it as great as that match is going to be, and it may close out WrestleMania for the first time ever. Tino, we may have in 35 years the very first time that women close out WrestleMania. And it's sad because you're probably going to have Asuka relegated to either the very first match of the night or the pre-show.
It's terrible. And then something else that happened while we were away that I want to touch base on. I want to get your opinion on.
Okay.
Kofi Kingston. Why all of a sudden? And I understand that this was supposed to be, which I don't understand because he's a newcomer from 205. But I can't even say his name. Mustafa
Ali.
Mustafa Ali was supposed to get this push. He got hurt. They gave it to Kofi, and Kofi just took off with it. Why give it to Mustafa? Why has Kofi been here 11 years and this is the first chance he's gotten? Because he's been constantly putting on good matches. So now they decide, now we're rolling with Kofi, and then so you think Kofi and then Daniel are going for the title. What was it? Not WrestleMania. It was going to be the Fast Lane, and then Vince McMahon comes out and he goes, "I give it to somebody more deserving." And where the Kevin Owens?
I mean, Kevin Owens never got a rematch when he was the Universal Champion, so he probably is more deserving. Kofi lost at the Elimination Chamber. Kofi lost at the Gauntlet match. It doesn't matter to me that he was in there an hour and 20 minutes and put on the show of his life. I mean, that's garbage. I don't care about all that. I mean,
and they're all like, yeah, we want to give the people what they want, and understandably, and I know I hear the rumors that Kofi folks will get his chance at Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. He's supposed to be going to program with the McMahons to somehow get his spot back. And they're saying that the odds are good that Kofi will walk out of WrestleMania, your first full African American champion.
Well, is he Jamaican?
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding. So the whole Kofi thing, you're asking where did he come from in this? I mean, in 2009 he was facing Randy Orton while Randy Orton was like world champion, and everybody was waiting for Kofi to actually pick up the championship. I mean, I remember they had that Falls Count Anywhere match, and he dove off the top of the second balcony onto Randy Orton, and shortly thereafter Kofi Kingston was in the doghouse for whatever reason. And then Kofi Kingston didn't do anything for 10 years, right? He's been U.S. champion. I think he's been Intercontinental champion. He's been multi-time tag team champion. But when you look at him, he really never accomplished anything. And I think it's because back in the day, he didn't have that charisma that he's got now. Like the moment that I knew something special was happening with Kofi this time was when he slapped AJ Styles in the face and he said, "Come on, I've waited 15 years for this." And this is after he's gone for, 48, 49 minutes or whatever. And AJ's doing the baby face thing. He's like, "Come on, man, your leg hurts. You can't go. I don't want to take advantage of you." And of course Kofi sits there and he slaps him and pushes him in the face. And he's like, don't treat me like a kid. Like treat me like a man, and that was like the first time we really saw that fire inside Kofi Kingston. You don't see it at the Royal Rumble, him trying to make a run at the championship. You see him trying to make a run back to the ring without his feet hitting the ground.
Yeah.
And it's garbage. And I told you that at this point, I'm tired of watching that. I don't need to see those stupid stunts of, "Oh, how's he going to do it this year?" No. If the guy is actually going to be something serious, make him something serious. And in fact, don't be surprised if to get him over as someone who's really competitive and really able to be the WWE champion, that instead of doing this whole Kofi versus the entire McMahons, don't be surprised if if McMahon forces the other two members of the New Day to turn on him. And don't be surprised that he has to go up in a 1-on-2 match against the New Day at WrestleMania before he gets his tag or his championship match. Don't be surprised.
Well, I also heard too that the New Day is going to get a tag team shot at the titles, which if they all come out, you could be looking at a stable. They got all the gold.
Well, they're already a stable. You know,
with all the gold though.
Sure. Wouldn't that be great? We saw that with the Shield. I don't know, man. Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did. They were the tag team champions, and Roman was the world champion at one point. And then of course Dean was the U.S. champion, and the other two were the tag team champions.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've seen it. And it's great for when the storyline actually calls for it and it actually makes sense. But right now, the problem is most WWE storylines don't make sense. Everybody's sitting there saying, oh, it's Black History Month. This is the perfect time for WWE to put the championship on a black man. Well, it would have been that 50 years ago, Tino. Sorry, it's true. You know, and anyone that sits there and says that The Rock, who is half black, half Samoan, isn't at least the first somewhat black champion.
Yeah.
I mean that's like saying that Barack Obama isn't the first somewhat black president of the United States, you know, and everybody sat there and said, well, it's the first black president. So if it's the first black president, guess what? I'm going to say it's the first black WWE champion. So I stand firmly on that. I think that it's ridiculous that they actually are sitting there saying that, you know, he's, you know, going to be the first one and that they still don't recognize one as it. I think that's BS. I think it's stupid. You know, like why does it matter?
Yeah.
You know, the black definitely respects both sides of his heritage.
Good point.
So, what else you got?
Shayna Baszler.
What about her?
When are we going to dethrone her? And who are they going to get to dethrone her? Did you watch Mia? Was that Mia Yim? That match on NXT this past Wednesday?
I did not.
She took it to her limits. I thought maybe that was, you know, I don't know who they're going to get to, because eventually she's going to get called up to the main roster because she's good.
I think what's going to happen is her girls are going to turn on her. I think they're waiting for one of them to actually show that they have a bit of talent in the WWE ring, and they're going to do that. I think they're going to have one turn on her. She'll lose the title to him, and then she'll show up on SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah. You don't think Bianca Belair will win the title? Okay. And with all the call-ups, I was surprised to see that it didn't call my boy up.
Are you talking about the Dream?
The Dream.
I think there's a reason why they didn't call the Dream up. You can't call everybody up. If you do, you ain't got nobody. Who are you going to give the title to? Cassius Ohno? Give me a break.
Yeah, but they could have kept. I don't know.
Yes, they're not going to. No.
The Dream needs the Dream.
The Dream needs to humble himself. Needs to understand that there is a rhyme, a reason, and a process in place to get people over the way that they have gotten him over. Now, granted, his charisma, his ability to speak, and what he's been able to do in the ring have helped get him over. But that's that NXT machine behind him that's getting him over the way he is. Let's not disqualify that. You know, they were able to get Bayley over, and of course now she's, you know, mediocre at best in the WWE.
Well, no, but they couldn't get Becky Lynch over. It took Becky Lynch coming up You know, and doing that herself. That wasn't the NXT machine.
You're mistaking Becky Lynch for Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was the one that wasn't able to get over in NXT, and Vince McMahon said, "I'm gonna make a champion out of her," and now she's like five time.
I don't think Becky was getting over in NXT, was she?
Yeah, she was. She was having matches with Sasha. She was having matches with Charlotte. She was one of the 4 horsewomen, so of course they were all over at that point.
No, she's just blowing out. Like when she got arrested, I mean, everything they're doing is reminding me
Stone Cold, Stone Cold. That whole thing.
And are they giving the stunner to Kevin Owens?
Did you see his tweet?
Uh-uh.
His tweet said, "Hey, look, Steve, I did it right this time." I think that they probably, obviously they talked to Austin for the whole Ric Flair 70th anniversary birthday or whatever. And they probably said, "Hey, we're thinking about putting the stunner on Owens." Now, did Owens win a match with it yet?
Yes. Thursday. When him and Kofi tag team together. That's how they won the match.
So he nailed the stunner and then pinned 1, 2, 3.
Yep, he kicked him in the gut, hit the stomach because he did the pop-up power bomb, and I thought that was gonna be like no. And yeah, he did the kick to the gut and the stunner and 1, 2, 3.
I guess someone has approved him taking that move. Good for him. He earned it. I think Becky should do it. I mean, she just gonna pull on someone's arm so it looks like
she does need to come up with a new finisher.
I mean, she's got the Bexploder.
She needs something that pops like that. Yeah, the stunner would be good.
The stunner would have been good. The rock bottom would be good. You could call it the lynch mob, maybe. I don't know. And boom, that would be awesome. Call it the bookend.
Okay.
Booker. King Booker.
King Booker.
They could rehash those moves. I mean, Ricochet does the people's backflip.
The people's backflip.
Yeah, you saw that, right? When he did it at the NXT show we went to.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
When he was like,
yeah, okay. You lost me for a second.
Yeah. And then he ran into the ropes, and then when he came back, instead of doing the elbow, he did a backflip on him.
Yeah.
He basically said, "Hey, Rock, look what I can do that you can't."
Speaking of Ric Flair's 70th, why pick then for Batista? Batista's gonna beat up a 70-year-old man.
Well, I mean, Rick was probably drunk back there, so he was really just saying, "Hey, I'll take Rick home." Dragging him out, the old man. It's like Tino. It's like me on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Like I'm sitting there saying we're not at my house yet. You're sitting there saying I'm here. I'm going to leave you in the front yard.
And you're trying to pull my door off my car.
Try to pull the door off the Jeep. It was a Jeep. I mean, Jeeps know not to have doors.
Would not let go.
I mean, I was standing like parallel, like I'm
really going to door frame, like trying to pull you off. Oh my God.
Yes, folks, this was like 15 years ago, by the way, that we're talking about, but actually about 10 years ago. But the whole, here's what I don't get. Batista now is a big enough movie star to where he could be a babyface anytime he wanted to show up in the WWE.
He don't want to be. He wants to be a heel.
He wants to be a heel. He wants to be the bad guy. Just like in the Bond movie, he wanted to be the bad guy. So of course, they made him a henchman. He does play a good heel. I mean, the look that he gave to that downed Ric Flair when he looked at the screen and he said, "Do I have your attention now, Hunter?" Yeah. But here's what I don't get. Big Dave is getting cheered at SmackDown 1000, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's getting cheered when he's staring Triple H in the eyes and he says, "But you never beat me."
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he shows up at Ric Flair's 70th birthday party when everybody thought it was going to be Becky Lynch beating him up, right? We all thought that. He shows up, and suddenly he's the heel, which makes Hunter the babyface.
In that match, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, he's part of the authority that's taking shots away from people and giving shots to other people, and you know, like, he can sit there and say something like, but you gotta admit, folks, it was pretty cool to see Becky Lynch like totally do all that blah blah blah, and you're like, is he baby? Is he heel? Is he baby? Is he like
Tweener.
Like, in one episode of Monday Night Raw, Triple H had more turns than the Big Show.
Yes, he did.
So I just don't get it. I don't know what they're trying to do there. I love the idea of Big Dave being back, even if it's only for one match and it's for WrestleMania.
Well, he said that's what he wants to. He wants that to be his retirement.
Well, he actually said in a recent interview that he wants one last run, which to me doesn't necessarily mean just one match. It means actually sticking around for a little while and then building up to one major final match. And who knows? Maybe this ends up being a 6-month program that starts at Mania and ends at SummerSlam. I don't know, but you know, all it does is it creates all this great stuff going on for the WWE because Batista's going to be all over the TV in April when Endgame comes out. You know, so if he's able to sit there and do like The Rock did the year that The Rock came back and wrestled John Cena and wrestled at Survivor Series and wrestled CM Punk twice, you know, if they figure out a way to make all that work and have Batista do 6 months with them, it could be another glory period for them, man. You know? So, you okay? That's all you got?
That's all I got.
So, you got shows coming up?
Not this. My weeks are running together. I'm so tired. Friday, you always get on me about dates. I don't know what the date is this coming Friday. I will be at First Street in Clayton, North Carolina. And then the following weekend, which I know is the 16th, I will be out of town. I'll be in Hickory, North Carolina. And then the following night, the 17th, that Saturday, I will be DJing at Doherty's in Apex for their St. Patty's Day.
Nice. So I have a secret event that has not yet been announced for the 16th. So that'll be announced shortly. Keep an eye on my personal pages about that. It'll be all over the place at some point. Then after that, I will be out in Los Angeles and Anaheim area for WonderCon the 28th through the 31st. And then I am a guest at Twin City Comic Con April 7th and a guest at Wilmington Geek Expo on the 20th of April as well. Thanks. So yeah, I've got some good stuff coming up, and then
all these weekends or just during the week.
No, most of these are the weekends, and of course when my books come out, I do have signings normally on like the first Wednesday that the books are out. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting. Keep up with my Facebook pages, you know, facebook.com/Rob Pochak, or obviously just, you know, friend request me on there. Instagram.com/Rob Pochak or Twitter.com/Pochak.
So next Sunday's the pay-per-view. It's the Fastlane pay-per-view. You got to work next Sunday?
I don't think so.
We got to figure out what since we're doing Sundays now, we were talking about doing it after the pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. We'll discuss it this week and we'll figure it out. And I'm sure we'll put it on the Facebook. You guys keep watch the Potsy and Tino Facebook. We'll let you know when we'll be coming at you. We could be doing it like we're doing it now, or maybe we might be in the same room. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, so I At this point, we really I don't know if we got do we have outro music? Hold on a second. Let me see if we can get some outro music going, Tino. And if I can get some outro music going on, we may hear our favorite guy. You ready? Let's see. Can we hear him?
Yeah.
Can we hear him? Oh, folks.
We hear him, ladies and gentlemen. So until next time, that is Rob. You can catch him on Twitter at Potcheck. It's been a while since I've done this. At Potcheck, you can catch the show at Tino and Potsy Show on Twitter, right?
Potsy and Tino Show.
The Potsy and Tino Show. I try, and every week he catches me. You can catch me. I'm HootieFan91 on Twitter. You can catch us all on Facebook. Like I said before, the Potsy and Tino. Thank you, as always, to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling song. Did I miss anything?
No, but I think you can hear Adam's House Cat finishing this song up right now.
He's at the hospital now because of Batista, but until next week, folks, you can hear him saying, woo! Good night.
Woo!